Let me know if you can hear me. Yeah! Okay, good. So listen closely. Hey, as a little kid, wasn't really rap tight. Yeah, they always said I was trying to act white.
Hi, this is Robert Leng. I'm here at Charter Coffeehouse with musician, rapper, producer, educator, PhD student.
Yeah.
Sammus.
Hi.
Hi. So, Sammus, where'd this name come from for your rapper persona?
So this name came from the kind of iconic video game character, Sammus. I was really inspired because in the video game, spoiler alert, when you get to the end of the game, the main character, whom has been kind of covered up the whole time in an armor suit, takes the armor suit off and you discover that she's a woman. And there weren't really playable women characters at that time. So I really gravitated toward that. And then the other part of it is I make all my beats and people would be like, who made your beats for you? And I would say that I made my beats. And then I would still feel weird, like pushback. She represents this kind of flipping of like gender norms or ideas about what women like can and can't do.
Yeah, which is big today. So just to clear it all out there, you are very hands-on with all your music. Right?
Yeah, since the beginning, yeah. Almost out of necessity. I traditionally was not the greatest collaborator. I think like when I have an idea, I just want to do it in the way that I want to do it. I'm going to learn how to do it so that I can perfect it and not have to go through anybody else.
Right, right.
More things than I'm reporting. Let's not force it, yo. And if you want to kick it like punting, better get one thing.
This Nerdcore
Yeah,
rap.
yeah.
Can you explain to me what that is?
Yeah, so it's this interesting scene. Artists who draw very heavily on movies, TV shows, cartoons, comic books, that kind of stuff. My name references Sammus, and I have tracks that speak specifically about video games. There are other artists who like sample video game tracks exclusively. There are other artists who make original chiptunes, loops and bleeps sounding tracks. So that's all under the umbrella of this nerdy, geeky hip-hop scene. I discovered them after I had put my project out. I wasn't like making it for this
them.
group of folks.
Right.
But when I saw the reception of who was excited about the project, there was a lot of people who were coming from that community.
A Wrinkle in Time was my favorite book. I remember age 9 was insatiable. Yeah, at the table nook, other kids would stay and look.
When you first got that response from those big core fans,
Yeah.
when did it become something for you to worry about? Could it hold me back in some type of way?
I would see the ways that blogs or other things would like talk about my music. Here's up and coming nerdcore rapper Sammus. I didn't like that that label was just put there. I felt like it pigeonholed me and it glossed over the way that I talk about broader social issues. But at the same time, I would never be foolish or naive enough to believe that it hasn't been instrumental in my success. When I go on tour, I can rap in a comic book shop and still have people come out and support because they're like, oh, she's one of us. She knows the things that are important to folks who are in these spaces.
Now I guess you're looking at it in a way of like, this is how you can connect the two.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
People who might not even listen to hip hop as much, now they can relate to it and maybe to explore hip hop more.
Yeah, absolutely. And I felt that, like you said, from all perspectives, Metroid, social justice issues around blackness, now it's all in one place. I had so much anxiety initially about letting down my fans who were really big gamers or really big into like geek nerd stuff. I had to realize I'm putting geeks and nerds and folks that I identify with in boxes by saying, oh, I can only perform my like video gamey stuff here instead of talking about things that everybody's concerned about. They deserve to have a sort of full experience of things talked about as well.
Am I qualified?
Your most recent project, right, Pieces in Space. Can you tell me what's your favorite track on this album?
Probably the last track, Qualified. It's a song about imposter syndrome. I like it the most because I try on every album to have the last song on the album be a little bit weird, a little bit different from everything else that was before. So it's much more of a jazz song than anything else that I have ever done. And I think it's a powerful track. And my homie Open Mike Eagle is on there. He's a great rapper. And then it ends with a flute solo. That was something that I had never tried before. It explores different sonic spaces for me, and it's something that now when I'm making new music, I'm like, I want to go back to that place that I was exploring.
More days in, oh no, will he still say the same thing? Am I qualified? Am I qualified? Hellified?
I heard a track, Comments Disabled. Is that on Pieces in Space?
That's on Pieces in
Okay,
Space.
in that song, you're talking about trolls and how the internet impacts us today and how people deal with it, right?
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
I think it was 2015. I was online. Women were sharing stories about just how many scary instances they'd had on the internet of people verbally threatening them and feeling completely lost in these spaces. And so I wanted to make a song about the anger that a lot of us feel. Often the narrative is take the high road. Sometimes you don't want to do that. Sometimes you just want to retaliate.
Yeah.
I wanted to make an anthem that was at its core like angry, scathing, and wasn't about building bridges with these folks who terrorize these women on like a daily basis. Folks have said, I'm glad that there's a track out there that allows me to just be like pissed about this stuff that's happening.
And I read that one of your big music influences is Kanye West, right?
Yeah. Oh,
so
yeah.
he's definitely a guy that speaks his mind. You
Oh,
know?
yeah, all the time.
He does no filter, you know?
Yeah.
Waiting for the others to the trap. Am I qualified? Am I qualified? Hellified?
Who are your other musical influences today and before?
The music of video games, I think, broadly has really influenced me. There's a lot of interesting melodic elements that drew me to it. I don't even know who the composer for Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is, but that game has some of the best music I had ever heard as a child. It was so addictive to me that I wanted to start making music after that. But in terms of artists, Daft Punk I really appreciate. The first thing that attracted me to it was that their music videos were really weird. I was like, what is this? And so I just was into that aspect of it, but also they made instrumental music, which I hadn't really heard a lot of. And so it taught me the elements that go into making a track. And so you're listening to how layers are built around a song. I really appreciate Bjork as well. Her music is beautiful and she's such a weirdo and unapologetically so.
That's it, yeah. Ooh, sounds good. Yeah. All right.
And you definitely embraced your individuality, your weirdness. One of the first videos I saw was at the MAG Fest.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure if that's when you first brought out the Metroid canon arm.
I've gone through like 3 of them because they're 3D printed on paper, and so they're pretty delicate.
Oh, so you have more than one?
Well, I had more than one, but they're all crushed up on tour, so I've got that one baby. But I finally have a Pelican case for it. It's nice and like secure.
Yeah, that video that I saw where it was waiting behind the podium, right? And then you just went back there and put it on, and I was just like, she's wearing this canon, and I noticed it for that second, but then after it just went back to the music. All right, okay, she did that. Now it's just back to music. And
that's a huge compliment.
Tell me about where that idea came from. What made you want to do that?
In 2014, I had released 2 albums and 1 EP up to that point, and I was being invited into more and more of these kind of like music video game spaces. And so I was like, dang, I really want to have more content that's video game specific, because I was really stressed that I didn't have enough nerdy geeky content. So I thought, okay, well, let me make an album that's devoted to telling the story of Sammus from the original Metroid game. I'll do like a concept project. And people really were into it. I want to do something special when I perform songs from this, because it feels weird to be at a bar and suddenly be like, I'm going to talk about Sammus, a bounty hunter, going to destroy this giant brain. So, like, what is the transition to that? Something that I could do that would, like, break the show up around that and have people be like, okay, she's almost doing, like, a stage performance at this time. And I found this dude who made arm cannons online. I was like, can you make me an arm cannon? And he sent me one, and that was that. And I used it at my next show, and people lost their minds. And I was like, okay, I have to continue to integrate this.
Got it on my resume, yeah, that's the way I get acquainted. Bomberman, I promise niggas I'll be detonating. Number munchers all participated, estimated.
What's next for you? What's the future holding? What's the next project? What do you want to do?
I'm doing a lot of touring, places that I don't traditionally go, so I'm going out to the West Coast and Midwest and trying to get down to the South. Working on the next project, which is going to be an album. I have about 4 or 5 tracks that I feel really good about already done. And to explore a lot, try different programs. I want to try Ableton Live. I want to invest in some new hardware, take formal guitar, piano lessons, educate myself so that I can just become a better musician. And
Yeah, you want to integrate live instruments.
yeah, exactly. It's slowly building up to something bigger.
To actually have like a band.
Like a band, yeah.
That's dope. That's dope. Sammus, thanks for talking to us.
This
Pleasure to meet
was
you.
awesome.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I'm gonna listen to more to your music, you know?
Sure, thank you.
Yo, games and cartoons. Games and cartoons. I said 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 games and cartoons. Thanks, y'all.